Hello, preparedness people out there. How are you tonight? If you could give me a 5x5 and let me know that you can hear me, that would be fantastic. Hello, I can hear me. People out there, how are you tonight? All right. Just getting everybody here and in. How is everybody tonight? Hope you guys had a great Saturday. I know Mr. B and I got some serious stuff done this morning. Got some pretty decent house cleaning done. I was sick last week and I didn't get a chance to do any house cleaning. And then I just went out in the sun for a little while because I feel like the sun just cooks the germs out of my body. So tonight we're going to talk about the food crisis, the farming crisis, and we're going to talk about what you can do to prepare, because 2023 is not that far away. To be brutally honest, it's going to be winter before we know it. And I want to make sure that everybody out there is ready for what's coming. I see Lori Hyman. Hi, Lori. I got bifocals, y'all. And I see Heroic Prepper. How you doing, buddy? Rita, always. I love you, Rita. Anybody else that wants to say hi? I see Lori's Thrifty Kitchen Pantry. Hello, Lori. Good to see you tonight. We have the tater factor in full effect. I'm on babysitting duty, and he's here in the kitchen with me, and he is on fire. So he has decided, hey, Ginny, he has decided that his personality is pure rascal, and that he is quite the rascal these days. Yeah. Hello, child of God and Carol. How you doing? Ginny. Big A, nice to see you. Proud Mom 1966, good to see you. I originally came from Maine. Maine is a beautiful state in the summer. As soon as I graduated high school, I was gone. I wanted to live somewhere warm. Uncle Al in the house. Hey, Uncle Al, how you doing? How you doing? Somebody said, watch those swear words, winter snow. Yeah, I know. It's something that we really need to think about, though, because while we're all enjoying summer and it's, warm and hot and nobody's really thinking about those kind of things, it's really time to buckle down. Preppers are always looking a season or two ahead. Lisa is in the house. Tammy, I am awake, is here. Hello, Sarah. Lisa's watching from Oklahoma. Welcome. I don't know what time it is in Oklahoma. G Queen. Hi, how are you? Okay. I'll continue to do some shout outs here in just a few minutes. So I have notes, of course, because I'm a note queen. Farming crisis. So just to break down a few facts that I researched over the week. So crops coming out of the Midwest, 20% of those crops go out by boat. I don't really know how that works. 20% go by train, and 60% go by diesel 18-wheeler truck. And that statistic to me was very striking because we have the parts shortage for diesel trucks. We have the diesel shortage for diesel all over the whole country and how expensive it is. We have a DEF shortage, the DEF, which is required to run an 18-wheeler. And we also have the new California law that drivers cannot be 1099. They have to work for an actual company. So that is eliminating a bunch of drivers from California. Oh, the Mississippi River. Yeah, that's smart. So that statistic really floored me, because if 60% of all of the produce grown and wheat and corn and all of those things grown in the Midwest is trucked out, that is a very precarious situation for getting what crops we can get out of that area if we don't have trucks to roll it out. I don't know about in your area, and please let me know in the comments. Do you see as many 18-wheelers on the road in your area as was before? Because I sure don't. We live in the National Forest, and we do have some logging here in the National Forest. Hey, Nene. Hi, Sven. Good to see you. I saw you over in Alaska Preppers Live last night, Sven. So I don't see as many 18-wheelers on the road in my area. In fact, I even posted on my Instagram the other day, I actually saw a logging truck, and I was so happy because that means that a trucker has a load to haul. And it also meant that there were people who had a day or two of work getting those logs out of the forest. Hi, Tony. Wisconsin, there are still many truckers. That's really awesome. No in Central Valley, says Uncle Al. Definitely not I-10 in Houston. You know what I just learned? Not even kidding. Highways that end in a 5 go north and south, and highways in a 0 go east to west. I never knew that. My mind was blown. I thought that was so cool. New information. I don't know why. I never thought about it that way, but I saw a map when I was looking. MK Craft says, I've seen them, but they are going slow, I think, to conserve gas. Uncle Al's in California, not as many trucks. Tammy says, California's new truck laws are ridiculous. They say trucks older than 2015 are not allowed to haul in California. Let me show that comment. Great comment. Thank you so much, Tammy, for joining my live video. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it's been really hard for a lot of truckers not being able to have a job and feed their families. It's horrifying. Kathy, agree. Hi, Van City. Nice to see you in the live. Thanks for coming by. Always appreciate you. Van City did a fantastic little video of her doing a med evac on a helicopter, and I thought it was both scary and amazing. Is the reason, Kathy says, is the reason that those don't have a depth sensor? You know what? I don't know. That would be a great thing for me to research. Let me make a note. The depth sensor. Mr. Biggs may know that off the top of his head. 2015 trucks. Okay, so 60. What did you say? Okay, he says the older ones don't. And Tammy says, I've noticed that the trucks here are company trucks and not private owned. In Florida, we have a lot of private owned trucks and a lot of, people that use it as a business. So yeah. Hi, Sierra. How are you? Snow. Semi-truck traffic has been slowing down for weeks in New Mexico. I'm seeing the same thing here in the Central Florida area just because I'm not seeing as much traffic, period, on the road. To be brutally honest, there's nothing. Even like on a Friday morning, you would think that there would be a lot of traffic on the roads. There just isn't. Yeah, DEF is the liquid that they have to have in order to run. Child of God says, my son, several cousins and family are all truckers. I'm sure we aren't the only ones who, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is just one more in the death by 1,000 cuts of the small business in America, to be brutally honest, because those truckers are a small business. They're owner operators. Lori's dad was a trucker for 30 years. He owned his own. Yeah, that's a nice memory. Thank you for sharing that with us. A lot of harvest trucks cut in half. And what I am seeing for trucks, sometimes they don't even have a load attached. They're just the truck, which they're not making any money. That's sad. Tony says slow in Massachusetts also. Yeah, thank you guys so much for that. So 60% by truck, that's over half. So then we have the buyout of the American farm by Asian companies. That kind of burns my biscuits, because even back when like the Chinese started buying things in the early 90s and 2000s, I thought, why are we letting foreign interests take over our food supply? I just don't think that is okay. And Smithfield has cranked up their production, but all of it or most of it is going to China, which is not good. Not good at all, because the American people, that's on American soil, And you would think that American people would be able to have access to that. Nene, hi Nene. Hardly any trucks in my area. Yeah. And G Queen says, I notice much less traffic in the morning when I'm going to work. Me too. Me too. It used to be packed. And there's more people living in Central Florida than there ever has been before. And then A Snow says train traffic has slowed down too. You know, I don't really go much of anywhere where there's trains, but I haven't seen a train in months. But I don't really go that way either. Child of God says, try buying land in China. You can't. Yeah. Uncle Al says, yeah, and Bill Gates too. Absolutely. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to buy the national forest. At one point, one of the presidents decided that they were going to try to put it up for sale, and everybody out here was like, no, you're not. That's nasty. Don't do that. Smithfield is owned by China. That's absolutely correct. Yes. And I verified that on the internet, which if it's on the internet, it has to be true, right? Oh, Lori says the only traffic I've seen increase are cops and fire trucks. We rarely see the police out here. We have Marion County Sheriff out here, and we rarely see police unless something's going down, or they find, sadly, unless they find someone who's unalived themselves out here. If you do research, Canada owns the most land, then Bill Gates, then China, says Tony. But China owns a lot of the really important businesses and infrastructure type stuff. Absolutely. Hi, Ben's over, what is it? Ben's over acres. Okay, hi. All right, Nene says, when the price of metal dropped, so did my hubby's loads to haul it. Yeah. Okay, so Smithfield, China, buyout of American farms by entities. So the small town farm is gone. Your local farmer, those people are disappearing. They're aging out of farming, or they're just not able to, keep afloat and end up selling. The perishability of our agriculture business is another big factor. If we can't get trucks to haul the loads, all of that produce and massive amounts of food go to waste. And we saw that during the events of 2020 with the big cough shutdown, is that a lot of our perishable things ended up either rotting in the fields, or there was no one to pick it. There was no one to process it. So a lot of it just went to waste, which, what a shame. There's a domino effect of shipping containers. Because we had such a backup at the ports of shipping containers, now there's such a glut of containers, and those containers need to be filled with things to go back to other countries, and we're not able to keep up with export demand and also the price to ship out. So that's really sad. There's that domino effect, that glut of containers now in the United States, where before we couldn't get a container, and it costs so much to bring a container from a foreign country who shall not be named that starts with a C to get over here to bring us whatever. Tony says, yeah, China does own a lot of golf courses. You're right. I am awake. That's all prime farmland, to be honest. I mean, why not? They already have the watering systems and everything. Tony says, our areas have a lot of farmland when I was a kid. Now it's all houses. Very sad. So it used to be all orange groves between here and Orlando, and now it is all the villages. Yeah, it's all massive housing and mini malls and strip malls and all that. It's horrifying. And the villages plans to go from Ocala to Orlando. They're going to take over everything, which horrifying. Let's see. A Snow. Is it legal for most foreign buyers to purchase home and land in the United States? I believe it is. I know somebody who immigrated here legally from South Africa, and he has a visa to be here. He owns 7 businesses, and he has multiple houses all over Florida. And he's known as the rehab king. So he buys houses, fixes them up, and flips them. Thank you for shouting out, smashing that like button, Van City. I really appreciate that. And I noticed Uncle Al did it too. It helps out the channel so much to hit that like button. And I can't tell you why YouTube likes that so much, but they sure do. Orlando Prepper, good to see you. How's your wife feeling? Is she better? Uncle Al says, China surrounds U.S. military bases. See Hawaii. Yeah, you're not even kidding. Love Pugs 05. Hey, tell me where you're watching from. I would love to know. I always like to know where people are watching from. Somebody said hard pass on the family farm. I'm so glad to hear she's doing better. That's so scary when you get, the big C word, and then I'm really glad. I really hope that the vitamin protocol helped. Okay, so another thing that's going to be happening is contracts are being canceled due to force majeure. So companies are just saying, I can't fulfill my contract at this price. We're canceling. I'll pay whatever fees or whatever, and then I can't fulfill the contract. The other thing you're noticing is contracts being renegotiated. So my favorite product, whatever that is, some turkey breasts, some turkey tenderloins. I really like turkey tenderloins, and they have some at Walmart that are non-antibiotic, they're kind of more natural. They disappeared for about 3 months, couldn't find them. They weren't there, and they put something else in the place. Then they came back, and they were $3 per package more expensive. And I'm noticing that with a lot of things like saltine crackers or eggs, or, there's so many things right now that are just gone. Hey, Linda's Prepper Kitchen, how are you doing? And Lisa's watching from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome. I see a Salt Lake City, Utah from MK Crafts, and Van Cities in California. Child of God. Oh, Southeast Georgia. And I can say that, Okefenokee. Did I do it right? I hope I did. Tracy P's in Maine. Tracy lives in one of the towns or cities that I used to live in back in the day. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. We're just in here talking about the farming crisis and kind of what to prepare for in 2023, because it's really not that far away if you think about it. So contracts renegotiated, products disappearing and then reappearing at a higher price. There's the inflation factor. So if there is a company that is able to get workers, they're having to pay more to get those workers to stay, which is being directly passed on to us, the consumer. And then let's not forget about the war factor. And that makes me very upset and sad, because my son is deployed right now, and I don't want there to be a war for anybody's sake. For anybody's sake, there are mothers and children and everybody on both sides that would be devastated. And I would prefer it if everybody could just get along and stop all this nonsense. But like Gerald Salente says, when they run out of options, they take you to war. And it's looking pretty shifty at this moment as far as options go. So I read an article in the New York Times that Russia allowed Ukraine to start shipping grains around the world again. Here's the important part. They did not, that happened yesterday, which is fantastic. And everyone was like, yay, yay, our word country. We're so happy. And that is, yeah, that's great. But how long is that going to last? And then who gets first dibs on that? So Ukraine is allowed to ship grain and food all over the world again, but who gets first dibs? Does Russia get first dibs? Does China? And I'm throwing out all the countries here because you know what? Usually I try to censor myself, but let's just be real. And if that gets me, whatever, I think my monkey business video got me shadow banned anyway. That's all right. That's okay. Let's see. I've got some people in here from Iowa, Ben's Over Acres. What branch of the military? My son's in the Army. Now Russia buying houses and farmland in the United States, Uncle Al says. Yeah, I don't doubt that because, with the laws and the rules that we have now, pretty much it's a free-for-all. It's crazy. But if we go over there and try to buy property, ain't going to happen. Okay, so Russia did allow Ukraine to start shipping grain all over the whole world again, but how long is that going to last? When are they going to stop that. They can stop it anytime they want to. And then who gets first dibs on that? I'm guaranteeing you that those new BRICS nations that have all joined together are going to get it before people in the EU and the other one. Yeah, the day after that deal, Bear Country bombed Odessa port. Yeah, it's bad news. Hello from Dunellen. Y'all are practically my neighbors. Hey, Florida Glitz, how you doing? On the other side of the county. And Orlando Prepper says they stopped it today. Well, that was fast. That was quick. I figured. Okay. So next up, the executive director of the World Food Program 3 days ago. I have it on my phone because I wanted to make sure that I read this word for word and I didn't paraphrase or mess it up. The executive director of World Food Program says the global food crisis stands to get even worse in 2023 because of possible reductions in farm production due to shortages of available fertilizer. And I've been kind of harping on this fertilizer thing for about the last 9 months. It's a real issue, and people are not. We have way too many people to set up like the Amish do and the other, sustainable farms to try to feed ourselves. So that was eye-opening. A lot of senators have come forward, and the former governor of South Carolina, David Beasley, there he is, warning of food crisis getting worse in 2023, reduction in planting due to fertilizer shortages. 50 million people in 45 countries are already in a famine, and the balance is so close for the rest of us. Farmers need our help more than ever now because they need us to help feed ourselves. And so if you have the ability to plant even the smallest garden, now is the time. Uncle Al says, use cow poo, folks. The alpaca poo did great, but my whole garden was it just did not do well this year. It just didn't. Oh, Florida representing in the chat tonight. Okay, so then on top of all of this, like we didn't need more, like another kick to the teeth is droughts. A lot of the United States is in a drought right now. I know that every time it rains, we're so thankful here in the National Forest because we're preventing forest fires, but our forest danger is still at medium. We got rain 3 times a day for 2 days straight. We got a morning rain, an evening, like an afternoonish rain, and an evening rain. So we were very thankful, but that was hard. So we have weather playing an effect. We could get a hurricane. We don't know. I mean, there's so many things. We could get one of those derechos again or whatever that was. Yeah, it's bad news bears all over the place. So I did a quick Google search of what word's going to be the most things in the United States that we would be short on. And number 1 was groceries. And they didn't even specify. They just said groceries. Aluminum and metals, chips and computer parts, and feminine products or tampons. So, yeah, those are the things that you want to stock up on for sure. And then I made a note about the depth sensor, and I'll have to research that. Maybe I'll put that on my community page since that was a really great question. All right, I'm going to catch back up on the chat. I did see the video that Doug and Stacy did about the government cracking down on the Amish. They've been protected for so long, and I believe that they deserve it. Absolutely. The government is destroying small business however they can. So they took away the owner-operator for the truck drivers. They've killed the restaurant industry, which is where a lot of small businesses are. And then just, having to pay an employee that much money to get them to show up to work for a small business is crippling, just crippling. Linda's Prepper Kitchen says anything made out of cotton. That's absolutely right. That's your clothes. And Nene's Prepping Kitchen did a fantastic video. I caught that this morning on shoe shortage. So if you need shoes or boots, now is the time to do that. Absolutely. Yeah, compost your manure first. My father-in-law put hot cow manure in his garden this year, and the only thing that he got was psychedelic mushrooms. So that wasn't very good. Oh, look at Florida Glitz. Literally tore up my beautiful backyard grass and now have a beautiful garden canning away, stocking and filling up my gaps. Air just smells different. A lot of tension out there. It feels different. So absolutely, absolutely 100%. People are so short-tempered. I cannot believe. Like, I normally have a positive mental attitude and I give people a lot of grace, but people are angry and nothing's even really happened yet. But there's almost like when horses smell smoke, they start stamping around and their eyes get all wide, like they know something's wrong, but they haven't quite put their finger on it yet. I think a lot of people are going to be waking up and it's going to be too late. So us as preppers need to start preparing right now. I've been canning proteins like a madwoman, and I have a video premiering on Monday about what our plans are for August. I did say the end of July, which we have a few days left, but I needed to get a plan together for August and make sure that we have laser focus for that. Uncle Al says stockpile, folks. That's absolutely right. Oh, MK Crafts, my cousin farms cotton and her crop failed in East Texas. And I don't know if anybody caught the Patera's Appalachian Homestead with Patera. Her video from the farmer broke my heart. And you could tell her heart was broken too. That was extremely sad. That family farm had been there for 80 something years and they were ready to just give up and, you know, still struggling and trying to hold on. Very sad and very, very telling of the times here in America at this point. Yeah. The boots on the ground, absolutely. I am completely addicted to Southern Prepper One's boots on the ground. That has helped me steer my prepping game pretty much the past since he's been doing it. Oslander, good day from all and down under. We're simply listening in on the phone. Thank you so much for listening. Not only are people angry, when they realize what's really happening and how the wool has been pulled over their eyes for so long, and you know, there's a wolf in the hen house at this point. They've been lied to, and once they wake up and realize that they've been lied to, it's gonna be completely terrible. Lori's Thrifty Kitchen Pantry. Thank you, Lori. There was an altercation at my work last week. Someone interrupted a funeral service. We managed to get her out of the building, but several of us had our phones ready to call for help. That is terrifying. I know that I was in a public area, and a young man who was soaking wet in the rain was asking people for a ride to the McDonald's, and he was acting very shifty and very shady and very like not on the up and up. And it was so funny because our sheriff has a most wanted section every Wednesday, and the kid was on the most wanted. Yeah, so just make sure that you're watching your six. Everybody was very weary of this person. He was a young man, and he's just like, I want to ride to McDonald's. I need to ride to McDonald's. And they were like, well, do you need to call someone? Can I call someone for you? What's the number? And he's like, I don't have a phone number. I just need to ride to McDonald's. And they're like, well, do you have a person that works there? Because I mean, people in the South are normally pretty friendly. And yeah, it turns out that he was wanted for a felony, and a violent one at that. So he was very frustrated and upset. And he's like, I've asked 20 people for a ride. Nobody's giving me a ride. And he was like pouting, and it was very, very strange. But then I saw that that he was on the most wanted for the week. And I was like, oh, I saw him, and called the tip line. And they were like, thank you. We have about 20 other tips saying that they saw him at this public place. So okay, I love Patera. I watch her all the time. Yeah, she's like sitting down with like your mom's best friend or your auntie or somebody who's really going to tell it to you straight and not like put sugar on it. Absolutely. I'm just going to go back through the chat here and make sure that I'm not missing anything. Tammy, I wish I had a pressure canner. Don't have a pressure canner. So go ahead and shout it out on your Facebook that you're looking for one, and tag some people, or put it in your neighborhood chat or your local Facebook neighborhood group. Who knows? Somebody may have one that they bought, you know, during the events of 2020, and they decide they don't want it now. They may give it to you or sell it to you for $20 or something like that. Yeah, garage sales, flea markets, Facebook Marketplace, fantastic place to pick up something like that. Thrift stores, absolutely. How do your grocery stores look like up your way? I'm going to have a video coming out soon with Great Depression grocery list, and check in at Aldi. I try to do that about every 8 weeks, check prices and sizes of different things. They had no saltine crackers at Aldi, I will tell you that. They had none. And prices were kind of the same-ish, but a lot of the packaging is shrinking. If you're noticing that in your area, leave that in this thread and I'll pop up your comment. That's another thing I'm noticing, is that the ingredients are changing. Like we purchased some some gluten-free crackers. We hadn't seen these gluten-free crackers in forever. They got them back in and we're eating them and they're like, why are these different? Like, ugh. They different ingredients, I swear it. Well, Lola Land, welcome to the chat. I'm really glad you put your comment here. Thank you so much. Canadian farmer here. Our grain truck driver said he's retiring due to Canadian and American border rules for the 19 thing. And he said many truckers in all sectors in trucking are retiring or finding new work. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know I shared in a previous live that a nurse friend of mine, her husband is an owner-operator truck driver. He put $1,200 worth of fuel in his truck, went to go pick up his load, and there was no load for him to pick up. So he was calling around trying to get day labor with his truck, and because they had put out $1,200 and there was no load to pick up. So they were scrambling because they were out $1,200, and nobody wants to be out that kind of money. Trust me. Nobody has that kind of money. So yeah, these are working people. Yeah, grocery stores. I mean, how are grocery stores looking in everybody else's area? To me, they look about the same as they have. I tried to get lettuce yesterday. Blah, it was so nasty. I had to paw through the whole box just to find 2 heads of lettuce that were even decent, and it was 30 cents more than 2 weeks ago. Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that. I spent the month of July eating out of the garden and eggs. My garden is completely burnt. It's burnt up. The sun is so strong here in Florida. It just fries the poor garden. In August, we're starting our new garden for fall, and I'm very excited about that. Child of God, I really enjoyed the collaboration about the SHTF meal. Under the Median has a $20 challenge to make 7 meals. Is that a challenge these days? I don't know how I would do that. $20 for 7 meals. I don't know, because I don't eat eggs. I can't eat them, and I don't know. That would be hard for me, for sure. Let's see. So we're going to be doing Apartment Prepper is hosting another SHTF meal collab next month, and we're so excited to do it. And anybody that wants to join is more than welcome to. It's going to be so much fun. So I hope it gets bigger and bigger as we go on. When I gift someone something I canned, I always tell them to save the jar and the rim. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Birdhouse at Jay Simpson. I don't mind if you're late, boo. You come in whenever you want. All right. He must have filled up tanks the company released on the card, cuts out. It gets about 3/4 of a tank. So he's an owner operator. That's his own truck. I don't know. That's what the nurse told me, is that he spent $1,200 on fuel. I feel like the fresh produce in the grocery store has been horrible. It goes bad very quick. You're absolutely correct. And you'll see it in my video. I'm going to put it on the Homestead Kitchen channel. I did a little grocery haul. It was $100 for almost nothing. And the carrots, they had 2-pound bags of carrots. They had about 6 bags, and they were all completely slimy and disgusting. So I had to get baby carrots, which I know sounds like such a first world problem, but we don't like baby carrots. So yeah. Because the baby carrots were 99 cents a pound, and they were at least passable. They weren't completely disgusting. So I've noticed that anytime I'm buying produce lately, I'm having to process it and use it almost immediately, within a few days. Yeah. Oh, hey, Our Home, Our Life. I'm new to her channel and she enjoyed the SHTF collab. Yeah, I'm super excited for the next one. I'm already trying to think of what I'm going to do. I caught up on a lot of YouTube today. I caught up on a lot of different channels and their videos. Seabass. I am shopping on Monday. I'll keep an eye out. Shop once a month. Last month, good. Yeah, good. I'm glad you found some good stuff. And another thing is sales. The sales flyer they're gross now. There's nothing in there that is like any good. Or they may have one thing, and I swear I will go in, I will buy that one thing, and I will turn around and walk right back out the door because I am not spending a ton of money. That's just how that's going to go. I'm trying not to raise my grocery budget. So we're just going to have to buckle down. Really hoping for the fall garden to be taking off because if it doesn't, no, I don't know. We'll be eating collard greens because the collard greens will grow no matter what. Seabass says carrots are coming along nicely. Never grew before. That's awesome. We're going to try carrots this fall. I'm really excited. MK Crafts. I'm so excited to start hydroponics in my basement. That is awesome. My brother did a whole hydroponics setup in his basement up in New Hampshire, and it was quite an experiment. He got his kids to do it. His kids are homeschooled, of course, and they all worked on it together. It was awesome. We're owner operators too, just leased to a company, so I don't have to do as much paperwork. That's awesome. I'm glad that works for you. Let me think. I put up, here's A Snow. I put up cattle panel hoop houses and use shade clouds. Been over 90 degrees for weeks. Still picking greens and peas. Walmart has material online. That's nice. That's great. We thought about doing that. Putting a shade over the garden. Yeah, the produce is just awful. Oh, yeah, Lori and I were talking about this last night. I've noticed at times that the guinea pig won't eat lettuce or carrots, which he loves. I think he's noticed that it tastes different. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Uncle Al, for shouting out the likes. If everybody could hit the like button, it really helps the channel out so much. Yeah, I did a little bit of research, but I just wanted, like, after a bit, it gets kind of depressing. It gets really overwhelming and sad. So definitely be stocking up, and what deals you can get out there, make sure you get them. Another thing is you're wanting to make sure that you're making friends with somebody local. If you know somebody that has a garden, maybe has some extra zucchini or something, trade them for whatever. And bartering is going to become important as the dollar devalues even further. You may be able to trade an afternoon or an evening of babysitting for some food or zucchini, or for, trade out some work in the garden and help them in exchange for, some produce or tomatoes. How wonderful would that be? That's really sad. Fire claimed another farm and landscape business near Chicago. That's so sad. And all these fires and all these random fires and planes crashing into food distributors and food processors. And it's just a really big coincidence. I was listening to Greg Hunter today while I was outside, and he said, death by coincidence seems to be becoming more and more of a thing. Jody, thank you for the super chat. Oh my goodness. I identified purslane as a super veggie in my yard. Apparently it's a weed. Yeah, it tastes like crunchy iceberg lettuce. Absolutely. Purslane is what got a lot of people through World War II. Not even kidding. Nice. That's awesome. I am so glad you've identified a weed in your yard. And thank you so much for the super chat. Nathan is doing well. I got a message from him a couple of days ago. He has his, whatever it is, shelter thingy set up, and he is with his team. Everyone is safe, and they are kind of just settling in now. I don't have a lot of details. He's somewhere in Europe, and it's cold. Which for a Florida boy, it's always cold somewhere. And Tater is doing really good. He's at my feet and he is asleep, and I'm not going to bother him because, Lord, he has decided that his identity is a rascal. So thank you so much for the super chat, Jody. I will be using that to send Nathan a package overseas. I do have his APO address. So if anybody out there in the chat would like to send a card for Christmas, I'm going to hook some stuff up. I have, in the past, when my son was deployed to South Korea, I did Christmas cards for the troops, and it was fantastic, and everybody loved it. So I will make sure that I do that again. And again, thank you so, so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. All right. Jody, look in the yard for lamb's quarter. Yeah, there are all kinds of things out there that you can forage. We forage a lot here in the National Forest. This year, our blackberries didn't do anything because we didn't get the rain early in the spring. We're getting it all now. Thank you for continued prayers for Nathan. I really appreciate that. He's doing well, and he is taking it one day at a time. He said it is pretty darn miserable and that he wants to come home, and I don't blame him, but this is what he signed up for, and he knows it, and so he is literally taking joy in each day that he can find, and just getting through it. The only way through is through. This girl prep says dandelion greens as well. Dandelions are not a natural plant here in Florida. They just don't grow here naturally. We do have a false dandelion, but actual dandelions don't grow here. So I planted and babied the dandelions. For a year, I cajoled and loved these horrible weeds that everyone else tries to kill, and kept them alive. Yeah. So it was pretty crazy, but I got some seeds, and I'm going to be planting those, and I'm hoping they take off. I'm going to plant them in my chicken area. I'm not really sure how to send a super chat. I don't know. Maybe if Uncle Al could help her out. Thank you so much. Lori, yeah, I'll make sure that I get some details about how to send a card. I don't want to put his APO address out because the military has asked not to do that, because there are people in the world who are evil and send the soldiers things with laxatives in them or other nasty things. So yeah, that's a hard thing. Who would do that? But there are people out there in the world that are just nasty. So if you want to email me, I'll make sure that I get you a way to get him a card. And I can't send cookies or anything this time because, and I didn't when he was in South Korea either, because it could take 25 days for the box to get there. That won't be any good. Oh, awesome, Seabass. Thank you so much. Every year at the medical office, I set up a little card stand so that the clients can send a card to the soldiers. So it's fantastic. Yeah, you can eat any part of the dandelion. You're absolutely correct. The roots make a fantastic tea that is really good for you. And Lisa, I noticed where Acre Homestead planted dandelions. Where do you find seeds? I got mine on Amazon. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. I'll look forward to your email. He doesn't need phone cards. I can't tell you how he got me the message, but I did get a brief, tiny little message. So, and it did have the APO address. So I do have that, but he doesn't need phone cards. Y'all got me chit-chatting tonight. Oh, thank you so much. Our home, our life. So thankful for the prepping channels. I'm new to, and I'm learning. Listen, I was in a chat. I watched the replay of Van City Prepping by Faith and Sassy Gal Prepping, and amazing chat. I took notes because I picked up like 3 new things that I had never thought of before, like putting reading glasses, which I have bifocals, putting reading glasses in my bug-out bag. Yeah. Mr. B, that's one of his main things. If you can't breathe, you can't fight. And if you can't see, you can't fight. Well, if I can't see, how am I supposed to get to where I'm going? Yeah, I just thought that was genius, and I had never thought of it, and I don't know why, but why wouldn't I put an extra pair of glasses? Yeah, absolutely. Harvest those dandelions. They're fantastic. Oh, bamboo. Nice. I noticed Mom Bear Prepping planted some bamboo as well, and I was super excited to see that for her. You can use bamboo for so many things. It's such a cool plant. Oh, clover. I know. That's my next thing is clover. I'm gonna have to get some seeds for that, but clover is amazing, and you can eat that too. Basically, we're gonna turn our front yard into a food forest. We wanted to do that this year, but it did not happen. Yeah, I'm super thankful for all of the strong prepping channels that we have here. I learn new things every day, and I've been in this game a long time. So I am so thankful that I have access to that kind of information all the time. And people are learning new things every day as the as you know situations change. Stuff is hyperinflating and it's just a mess. It's just a mess. But I don't think it's going to get any better considering the former governor of South Carolina is coming out saying that there's going to be a food crisis due to fertilizer, to kind of wrangle it back around to my original topic. And the fact that we rely on truckers to move 60% of our produce. That's pretty wild. And I was reading in one of the articles, it took 9 months for a shipment of almonds to get from the United States overseas. 9 months. So in that 9 months, the quality of the almonds went from A down to completely unusable and not eatable. So I don't know if they have insurance for that or how that works, but it's not great. Okay. Does anybody have any just random questions for me tonight? We'll spend the last 15 minutes just kind of, the truckers are taking a beating. It's so sad. So sad. And, truckers are normally patriots. They're normally very independent people who don't maybe follow conventional rules and things like that. And yes. So this topic right here, I don't know if YouTube allows this word or not. But I saw some interesting things on Instagram recently about that very topic, and I am horrified. I don't want to eat bugs, and I certainly don't want to eat other human beings. That's just no. Yeah, you would think that our government would thank a trucker, but they don't. They don't. And if anything, the messaging coming out of Canada for a long time was that truckers were evil and that they were holding up, transportation, and it was almost like a war on truckers. It was so strange to listen to the messaging coming out of that country about truckers. And then here we are, a year later. I don't know when the truck convoy exactly was, but I don't think it was winter. I don't know. All right, Tammy, thank you so much for coming on by. I really appreciate you being here. Yeah, the enemy, because they bring us our food. Absolutely. Whoops. I was trying to press on Seabass and it jumped. So many comments. Thank you so much. Yeah, they bring us our food. Absolutely, they're going to be vilified because we need them. And we need to keep America going. We need to keep them trucking. And that's how we get 60% of our deliveries. Yeah, it's so crazy. Who would do that? Truckers Move America, absolutely 100%. And Jeremy's grandpa was a trucker and just a wonderful man. And, but he's passed away now. And I think a lot of the original OG trucker people are leaving that industry. Like we had a comment earlier about a lot of truckers finding other work because it's just not feasible anymore. Okay, my girlfriend and I drove halfway across Alabama today in I-65, which we know now that highways ending in a 5 go north and south and 0 go this way. Or interstates, not highways, interstates. Few commercial trucks, one was towing boats and no state troopers. A lot of state troopers are having to cut back on patrols because they've already blown their budget on gas. And I don't know how, when we go back to school School buses run on diesel. I mentioned that in my last live video. I don't know how we're going to get all these kids back and forth to school every day. They're cutting out so many of the free lunch and breakfast programs, and they are just, yeah. You can't get the kid to school, and then once you get him to school, he's hungry. So how is he supposed to learn? That does not seem like an ideal situation, and it also doesn't seem like we are a first world country if we're having these kind of problems. Why are we not able to feed our children? That's just sad. Oh, Linda, so political. All right, here we go. Summer. My dad was a trucker for over 35 years living in California, still has friends in their district, and says the most bizarre thing he's ever seen with all the trains standing still in California. There's going to be more and more and more stuff coming out about what they've been hiding and how they've been hiding it, all these officials. And it's when the people are starting to get shifty now. They're starting to realize deep in their souls that something is not right. Like, I've never seen, if I hear the word unprecedented one more time, I think the top of my head is going to blow off. I am so tired of that word. Historical and unprecedented. I cannot stand either of those words ever again. No, thank you. Anytime anybody says that, I just want to break out in a rash. And I just can't. I can't do it. So the things that I am seeing are unprecedented. I've been on this planet for 50 years, and I cannot believe some of the things that are happening. I can't believe it. Oh, Seabass is going dumpster diving. Mitten Prepper does it. Aldi is walking distance to me. In Marion County, they have the dumpsters razor wired off, so you can't do that. Because Marion County has a very serious homeless problem, but they also don't believe that they have a homeless problem. They just pick them up and take them to another county. So we do have a serious homeless problem, but all the dumpsters that are around here are razor wired off in Ocala, or at least in Silver Springs they are. You keep saying, yeah, absolutely. Well, I am a political atheist. I believe that it's two cheeks of the same behind, and they want you to kiss both of them. That's my, yeah, or out of an abundance of caution. Yeah, I'm tired of those words too. Bye, Uncle Al. Have a great night. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate you being here. And I'm going to be off of here in about the next 2 or 3, probably 4 minutes, so that we can go over to pinball preparedness. I always have a train here at 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and it's been weeks since I heard a train. Wow, that is scary. Absolutely 100%. Yeah, I'm really tired of the words historical, unprecedented, all that. I can't. I always tell people I haven't been a fan of the political system since Reagan. Presidency 1, not 2, term 1. And I was just a young girl back then. I have not been a fan of anybody since. Period. The end. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody's about to call it a night, and I am too. Oh my gosh, Sven, it's 2:52 a.m. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate all of you being here. I'll put up a survey on my community page on Tuesday, probably regarding next week's live. If you guys have any questions, or if you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about next week, I would love to do so. Grandkids asking for popcorn. That's awesome. So if you have any topics you'd like me to address, let me know. If you have any questions for me, you can always email me at ourbigsadventure@yahoo.com. I'm always available. I'm also on Instagram, the Bigs Prep, and also the Big Homestead Kitchen. So PM me on Instagram, and that usually is the best way to get a hold of me, because I don't check my email every day, but I do check my Instagram at least a couple times a day. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really glad you stopped by. Welcome to the channel, and I'm really glad that you made your comments, because that's awesome. Is it next week on Wednesday? Wednesday, I'll probably post a video but I won't be live next week on Wednesday. I'm always live Saturdays, 8 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm always done by 9 o'clock, so we all can go over to Pinball Preparedness and hang out with them for a little while. Thank you, everybody, so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And like I said, if you have any topics for next week, let me know. Thank you, guys. Bye. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. I'll send that to Nathan. Bye-bye.